Welcome to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. Quick, actionable tips to master personal finance and real estate investing. In just 5 minutes a day, we'll help you build wealth and achieve financial freedom. Hey, Prime investors. Martin Maxwell here, and welcome back to the 5-Minute Prime Podcast. This is episode 46. I'm sure you have felt that pull, that magnetic urge to jump into a real estate market everyone's suddenly talking about. Austin, Miami, Boise, cities plastered across headlines as the next big thing, promising rapid appreciation and quick riches. It's tempting, right? But today we're tackling a major strategic pitfall for investors, especially those starting out, chasing hot markets based on hype. Here's a reality check. That excitement can quickly turn into a financial trap. Recent surveys show investor sentiment has actually dropped significantly, partly because the uncertainty is high and costs are rising. Buying at the peak of a hype cycle often means overpaying. Now let's explore what happens when you follow the frenzy instead of the facts. Hot markets are seductive, prices seem to only go up, demand feels endless, and stories of quick profits are everywhere. But this often leads to buying overpriced properties just as the market is peaking. When that momentum inevitably slows or reverses, the fallout can be brutal. Think about Boise, Idaho during the pandemic. It became a poster child for hot markets. Remote workers flooded in, prices skyrocketed, jumping dramatically in a short period. But what followed? As demand normalized and interest rates climbed, the market cooled significantly from those unsustainable peaks. While it's shown some stabilization recently, imagine buying right at the very top in 2022. The equity hit and the stress would have been immense. It wasn't just Boise. Look at Austin, Texas. After its own massive run-up, prices corrected significantly, down nearly 15% from the May 2022 peak by April 2025. Phoenix, Arizona, another pandemic darling, saw prices fall around 7% from its 2022 peak, with inventory piling up. Now consider the impact on an investor who jumped into one of these markets during the peak hype, maybe paying $500,000 for a property based purely on the headlines. When the market corrects by 10-15%, that's $50,000 to $75,000 in equity seemingly vanished. And the consequences aren't just about lost equity. Overpaying in a hyped market directly impacts your ability to cash flow. When you buy at an inflated price, the achievable rent often struggles to cover the bloated mortgage payment plus taxes and insurance. It's a recipe for negative cash flow, putting immense strain on your finances, especially if you didn't have deep reserves. The hard lesson repeats itself. Hot markets, driven by hype rather than fundamentals, can cool down much faster than they heat up, leaving unprepared investors in a very tough spot. So, it's clear chasing hype is risky, but why do so many investors, especially newer ones, fall into this trap? It's usually a mix of powerful psychology and critical information gaps. First, there's FOMO, the fear of missing out. You see those flashy headlines, maybe social media posts about quick flips in Tampa or huge rent increases in Raleigh, and you feel this intense pressure to jump in before the opportunity disappears. It's a very real, very human emotion. Second, media hype pours gasoline on that FOMO fire. National outlets love publishing top 10 hottest markets lists. They make it sound easy, almost like a sure bet. Some surveys have even shown a significant number of new investors admit they prioritize this kind of buzz over digging into the hard data themselves when choosing where to invest. Third, and this is absolutely crucial, there's often a local knowledge gap. Beginners might read a national article and not dig deep enough into what's actually driving the local hype. Is it based on sustainable, diverse job growth, or was it a temporary influx of remote workers, like we saw in Boise? Is it solid population growth or short-term speculation, like Vegas saw with high investor purchase percentages during its boom? Remember back in episode 34, we stressed that real estate is hyper-local. Understanding local employment trends, actual housing supply versus demand, and historical price cycles is non-negotiable. Without that ground-level research, the R in Prime episode 16, you're essentially gambling. It's like buying a stock because it's trending, not because the company's fundamentals are solid. That promise of quick, easy wins can blind investors to the underlying risks. Okay, enough about the problem. Let's get practical. How do you avoid the hype trap and make smarter investment decisions grounded in reality? It boils down to this simple mantra. Research, not headlines. Your investment decisions need to be anchored in solid, local data, not national hype. Here's your action plan. Step 1. Analyze job growth. Sustainable markets need diverse, growing employment. Don't rely on anecdotes or old news. Go straight to the official source, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, BLS. Look for cities with consistent recent job growth across multiple sectors. For instance, while Nashville was booming, the latest BLS data for early 2025 showed a significant slowdown to just 0.4% year-over-year job growth. Knowing the current trend is vital. Step 2, track population trends. Are people really moving to the area consistently, or was it a temporary surge? Use U.S. Census Bureau data. Steady organic population growth, like Raleigh, NC, has demonstrated over several years, provides a much more reliable foundation for housing demand than sudden, potentially fleeting influxes. Step 3, study historical price cycles. Every market breathes. It has ups and downs. Use Zillow historical data, or even better, local MLS reports to examine 10 to 20 years of price history. Has the market seen wild boom and bust cycles before? Or has appreciation been more gradual and sustainable? A market like Austin nearly doubling in value in 5 years before correcting sharply signals inherent volatility. For a reality check on long-term stability, cross-reference with the FHFA House Price Index. Step 4, monitor real-time market indicators. What's happening right now? Look at current data on sites like Realtor.com. Check the current inventory levels. Are they balanced, critically low, or suddenly surging? How many days are homes staying on the market? Are more sellers cutting prices? Rising inventory combined with longer days on market and more price cuts are clear signals that the market dynamics are shifting regardless of lingering hype. Now let's apply this thinking, considering Denver. Recent BLS data showed flat job growth, a major cooling from prior years. That single data point forces you to question any lingering hot market narrative. Compare that deep current dive to just reading a generic article about Miami. You need to understand the specific underlying economic drivers. Your mantra should always be, buy based on facts, not feelings. Ground your decisions in current local data, as we emphasized in episode 34, and you'll invest with far greater confidence and safety. Here's the bottom line for us prime investors. Don't chase the hype, chase the data. Hot markets, fueled by FOMO and exciting headlines, can be incredibly tempting, but without digging into the real local drivers, sustainable jobs, long-term population trends, historical price stability, and current inventory levels, you're essentially betting on a mirage. Remember the recent dip in overall investor sentiment? Caution is warranted. The investors who get burned are often the ones who skipped their local homework. You don't have to be one of them. Now, your challenge today. Pick one market you've heard hyped recently. Maybe it's a city often in the news, or even your own backyard if prices have been crazy. Spend 15 to 20 minutes today digging into the actual local data using the sources we mentioned. BLS for job growth, Census for population trends, and Realtor.com or Zillow for current inventory, days on market, and price cut percentages. Compare the hype to the reality you uncover. Is the narrative supported by sustainable fundamentals, or are there underlying warning signs? Take that first step towards making truly data-driven decisions. And as always, if you found value here, please subscribe to the 5 Minute Prime podcast. Share it with another aspiring investor and leave us a review. Find more resources and tools at reiprime.com. I'm Martin Maxwell. Build your strategy on solid ground, not shifting sands. Keep learning, stay disciplined, and build your future.